The interviewer crossed out Han Yu-sung's resume because he thought 18 was too old. You are not wrong. There is a job at 18 considered too old. That is being an intern at Han Yu-sung Kwok Entertainment Companies. Han Yu-sung studied at the Daehan Art School, a school known as the Idol Factory. Those who can graduate in that school have almost stepped one foot into the entertainment industry. The campus is filled with handsome boys and beautiful girls, each exuding their own charm, hoping to debut one day in order to become famous and rich. However, debuting is not easy. Han Yu-sung could not remember how many artist interviews he had participated in. Every time he joined, he felt like he was drowning in pressure, feeling like he couldn't breathe. Standing in front of the camera, he couldn't be natural and his age became a huge barrier. The interviewer showed his dissatisfaction. On the way back home, Han Yu-sung received many business cards from entertainment companies. His friends thought that he would debut soon and expressed their jealousy towards him, but only Han Yu-sung knew that his obsession with never becoming an idol was still present. That afternoon when he entered the practice room, Han Yu-sung witnessed two girls arguing about a dance move. The two ended up in a fight. Fortunately, the teacher arrived in time and resolved the situation. He said seriously, based on the current circumstance, not everyone in this room could debut. Just then, Han Yu-sung received a text message informing him that his interview had failed, like what the teacher had said. Han Yu-sung couldn't help but worry about his future. Meanwhile, Shin Da-ra, Han Yu-sung's friend, was happily filming a vlog. The theme was a challenge to confess to friends. Shin Da-ra confessed to her friends one by one, and everyone knew that she was filming, so they collaborated to make funny moments. When no one accepted her confession, Shin Da-ra moved to Han Yu-sung. Han Yu-sung just thought it was a joke, so he didn't care too much. But after class, everything suddenly changed. Han Yu-sung's phone kept ringing. Shin Da-ra's video had become popular in the internet. People discovered that he looked like a famous idol. Han Yu-sung realized that his chance had come. That person was the son of the president of a top entertainment company in Korea. When he got out of the car, he was surrounded by reporters, and the opening ceremony turned into a press conference. In the crowd, Han Yu-sung saw a face that looked very similar to his own. Jisoo Bin was a famous idol. In front of the reporters, he couldn't help but provoke, saying that he was the real Jisoo Bin from the Korean Academy of Arts. The fake Jisoo Bin was below, and Han Yu-sung clenched his fists. What he hated the most in the world was looking like someone else. Since he was young, if he wore shoes that looked like someone else's, he would throw them away. Although looking like Jisoo Bin made him famous, this fame didn't bring him happiness. A company wanted him to launch a product under the name Jisoo Bin, but he immediately refused. Now that the real Jisoo Bin is studying at the same school, who knows what will happen in the future? The next day, Han Yu-sung and Hyun Woo went to school as usual, but were suddenly stopped by Bang Yu-chan, a new student. He wanted to ask the two of them to make a challenge video with him. Han Yu-sung wanted to refuse, but Dushan quickly stuffed a pack of candy into his hand. It was time to film, and everyone was enjoying themselves at first, but the atmosphere changed when Jisoo Bin appeared. Hearing that someone was filming a video, Jisoo Bin walked over and expressed his desire to join. Not only did he wear the same hat as Han Yu-sung, but he also deliberately provoked him with innuendos about the real Jisoo Bin and the fake one. He even pretended to be naive and asked if Han Yu-sung looked like him. This directly added fuel to the fire. Han Yu-sung immediately became angry and grabbed real Han Yu-sung collar. This scene quickly appealed to the attention of the surrounding students. Crowd gathered. Many people started filming. Han Yu-sung's panic rose again. He ran into the bathroom and vomited. Hyun Woo and Shin Da-ra stood outside worriedly, calling his name again and again. Among his friends, the person who understood Han Yu-sung's characteristics the best was Oh Ro-shi. But she had debuted before him, so she was often absent and could only talk to him by phone. However, her friend still remembered Oh Ro-shi and did not forget to send her a birthday cake. Oh Ro-shi wanted to show her gratitude to her friends, but her teammates taunted her for posting too much about her birthday. When she was in the car, she was also ostracized by her teammates and had to sit in the passenger seat. Especially when the driver accidentally commended her for being a well-deserved C rank, her teammates' eyes became even more malicious. One time, when Oh Ro-shi was looking at her idol, someone suddenly said hello. She was extremely surprised because it was her idol. Oh Ro-shi was so happy that she couldn't speak. She took a photo with her idol and received his encouragement. From that time, it strengthened her dream of becoming a star. She then entered the High School of Arts, and everything went smoothly. She was discovered by a talent scout and became an intern, eventually debuting successfully and becoming a hit. Everything was like a dream. However, Oh Ro-shi began to wonder if this was really what she wanted. After nights of working, she still wanted to go back to school because her friends were there. Oh Ro-shi's group of friends were preparing a party to welcome her return, hoping to create a big surprise. Unexpectedly, Han Yu-sung arrived first before everyone could hide, the main character of the party. Oh Roshi appeared. The surprise party was completely ruined. Shin Da-ra couldn't help but censured Han Yu-sung. Han Yu-sung immediately retorted, explaining that it was Shin Da-ra who asked him to get the cake. Watching his friends arguing, Oh Roshi smiled from the bottom of his heart. After all, there are no simple relationships in the entertainment industry. With only a few days left until the orientation ceremony, the teacher met Han Yu-sung and asked him to perform, and informed him that his classmates had also agreed. However, when he heard that Ji-soo Bin would also be on stage, Han Yu-sung couldn't help but feel disappointed. Knowing that he was often called the fake Ji-soo Bin, he wondered if the students were looking forward to a confrontation between the real Ji-soo Bin and the fake one. He was hesitant about whether he should participate or not. However, Oh Roshi, who was enthusiastic and always cared about his friends, took the initiative to see Han Yu-sung to comfort him. She said that there would be many talent scouts coming to the ceremony, and this was a perfect opportunity for him. Oh Roshi also punched him lightly on the shoulder to wake him up. After that, Han Yu-sung began to prepare diligently for the performance. His friends filmed his practice and wanted to send the video to Oh Roshi. But Han Yu-sung decided to keep it as a surprise, because he wanted Oh Roshi to be able to witness his performance by herself. On the day of the orientation ceremony, Han Yu-sung's practice video was sent to the teacher. Oh Roshi, while passing by another practice room, saw Ji-soo Bin also practicing diligently. They talked to each other for a while, and Oh Roshi approached Ji-soo Bin to take a closer look at his face. She was surprised that he looked so much like Han Yu-sung that it was unbelievable. Ji-soo Bin was surprised by Oh Roshi's sudden close contact, but she quickly calmed down. Thinking that both of them were overworked, Oh Roshi decided to work harder and also went to practice. As a result, she accidentally left a cup of water in Ji-soo Bin's place. On the day of the party, Oh Roshi anxiously awaited Han Yu-sung's performance. Before that, Ji-soo Bin had sent a photo of the cup of water to Oh Roshi and made the promise to return it. Ji-soo Bin performed first, and when he finished, it was Han Yu-sung's turn. But when Han Yu-sung's prelude played, he was stunned to realize that Ji-soo Bin's dance was exactly the same as his own. The audience was also surprised and started to spread rumors that Han Yu-sung had copied Ji-soo Bin's dance. Could not accept this situation, Han Yu-sung chose to avoid it and did not perform. Han Yu-sung's close friends still trusted him. They suspected that Ji-soo Bin was the imitator. Ji-soo Bin heard all of those issues, but just quietly stepped forward to return the glass of water to Oh Roshi. That night, when he returned home, Ji-soo Bin told his mother about the performance, and his mother seemed to know everything and gently told the maid to prepare food for him. Meanwhile, Han Yu-sung was having a nightmare while sleeping. In his dream, he saw an octopus monster that could imitate humans and became like Ji-soo Bin. That made him even more confused about himself and what was going on. The next day was the school's Guardian Angel Day, an event that all the students eagerly awaited. Each student would randomly draw to find their angel, and then complete the task by giving each other high fives. This was an activity to strengthen the bond and interaction between students. But Han Yu-sung didn't come to school today. His group of friends were discussing whether to draw lots for him or not. Suddenly, someone tapped Oh Roshi from behind. It was Ji-soo Bin. He had drawn Oh Roshi and required her to high-five him. However, due to the last event, Oh Roshi did not have much sympathy for him, and she remained motionless, causing the situation to become a stalemate. Fortunately, Oh Roshi's best friend took the initiative to help, but Ji-soo Bin had no intention of ending it like that. He called Oh Roshi out to talk. Oh Roshi frankly asked Ji-soo Bin if he practiced his dance himself. Instead of answering directly, Ji-soo Bin asked back if she had asked Han Yu-sung this question. If not, it meant that Oh Roshi was only suspicious of him. Ji-soo Bin said that he did not know what was going on, and just wanted to make everything clear. At the same time, Han Yu-sung also realized that something was wrong. A message showed upon the maid's phone, asking about the location of Han Yu-sung's practice room. He was suspicious, and secretly wrote down the other person's phone number. Hyun-woo was also investigating this matter. He once sent a dance video of Han Yu-sung to his teacher, so he carefully came to ask if the teacher had leaked the video. However, the teacher was also investigating and confirmed that it was not him. Hyun-woo went to meet Ji-soo Bin's best friend, who was also an intern at Ji-soo Bin's mother's company. When Hyun-woo showed him Han Yu-sung's dance video, he realized the truth. The friend immediately called Ji-soo Bin, revealing that he had gone to the company's headquarters and accidentally saw the video. It seemed that this was not a coincidence. Ji-soo Bin decided to sneak into his mother's room and found a folder on the computer. The content inside made Ji-soo Bin collapse immediately. It turned out that his mother had collected a lot of information about Han Yu-sung and turned Ji-soo Bin into a copy of Han Yu-sung. That day, when he heard about his father's death, at the funeral, Ji-soo Bin met Han Yu-sung for the first time. He discovered that he was the son of his father's new wife, that is, Han Yu-sung's half-brother. Ji-soo Bin's mother stole his father by imitating Han Yu-sung's mother, and this imitation affected both children. Jisoo Ben couldn't help but collapse after finding the truth. When the door suddenly opened, he quickly hid in the corner and was fortunately not discovered by his mother's secretary. When he got home, he saw his mother drunk. While trying to stop her from drinking, she pulled him back and shouted Han Yu-sung's name. Jisoo Ben was stunned for a while. Meanwhile, Han Yu-sung was worried about running away from the orientation, worried about that his classmates would laugh at him. But surprisingly, his classmates didn't care about it, which made Han Yu-sung feel more at ease. Oh Roshi, to comfort Han Yu-sung, gave him a high five and put a candy in his hand. Everyone else also came to high five Han Yu-sung one after another, creating a harmonious atmosphere. Oh Roshi then saw Jisoo Ben sitting alone in a corner and took the initiative to come over and apologize for doubting him yesterday. Although Jisoo Ben already knew the truth, he did not say anything and just sat silently with Oh Roshi watching the clouds. Enjoying this peaceful moment, Han Yu-sung was still investigating the dance plagiarism incident. Recalling the phone number he had saved earlier as reminded by his friend, Han Yu-sung followed the clues and found Jisoo Ben's mother. In a video interview, she proudly showed that her secret to success was imitating others who were more beautiful than her, and even showed everyone a large picture of her family. Surprisingly, her family was exactly the same as Han Yu-sung's family. He finally understood the origin of this plagiarism incident. At this moment, Jisoo Ben appeared from behind. Han Yu-sung went to ask, but the Jisoo Ben pretended not to know anything, turned around and left immediately. The two of them went to school, dressed exactly the same, causing their curious classmates to take out their phones to take pictures. Jisoo Ben proudly claimed that his classmates thought Han Yu-sung was imitating him, which was obvious. Han Yu-sung left in anger. But Jisoo Ben still wouldn't stop. During lunch, he dressed up like Han Yu-sung again and deliberately bumped into him, then asked his classmates to film the whole process. When Han Yu-sung wanted to get up and leave again, Jisoo Ben held him back and wouldn't let him go. Jisoo Ben asked if he was avoiding him. When Han Yu-sung tried to get away, Jisoo Ben suddenly spilled a plate of food, staining Han Yu-sung's clothes, and then he acted innocently as if Han Yu-sung was bullying him. Although everything was Jisoo Ben's own doing, everyone still considered Dong-soo as the target of criticism. Jisoo Ben's ability to provoke and imitate was totally inherited from his mother. Han Yu-sung's mother used to be the best dancer in school, which made Jisoo Ben's mother jealous. She began to imitate Han Yu-sung's mother, from her clothes, her way of managing finances, to stealing her husband. Gaining the benefits of this imitation, she continued to incite her son to imitate Han Yu-sung, from putting the same mole on his eyes, stealing Han Yu-sung's choreography, to bribing the nanny to know what he wore every day. Jisoo Ben initially tried to resist, wanting his mother to pay attention to his real self instead of turning him into a copy of someone else. But it really made him disappointed when he saw his mother kneeling down to tie Han Yu-sung's shoelaces and calling his name affectionately. Jisoo Ben, who had completely lost his mind, decided that if his mother wanted him to imitate her, then he would imitate her until the end, creating consecutive provocations. When Han Yu-sung discovered the close bond between Jisoo Ben's mother and his mother, he felt so disgusted that he had a panic. Fortunately, the teacher stepped in and took Jisoo Ben's mother away, which relieved Han Yu-sung. Shindara noticed Han Yu-sung's strange changes, but when she wanted to ask him about him, Han Yu-sung suddenly fainted. She moved him to the infirmary. After waking up, Han Yu-sung told Shindara not to tell him about this. Han Yu-sung tried her best to pretend that nothing had happened. Shindara felt resentment and furious for Han Yu-sung, but at that moment she received a text message about the guardian angel activity. Shindara's guardian angel was Han Yu-sung by chance. She immediately asked where Han Yu-sung was, then hastily said goodbye to her friends and went to the dancing room to find him. When she met Han Yu-sung, Shindara felt sad for him, so she went to comfort him. Han Yu-sung was also unhappy. He decided to call Jisoo Ben out to confront him directly. However, Jisoo Ben kept quiet, causing the tension and misunderstanding between the two to increase. Shindara informed that Han Yu-sung was her guardian angel and she had a small wish, which was to go to the aquarium with him. Han Yu-sung was a bit worried. Shindara looked at his strange expression and asked worriedly. Only then she knew that Han Yu-sung was scared of octopuses. Determined to help her friend overcome her fear, Shindara returned home, and after rummaging around on top of the cupboard, she found 2 cute octopus stuffed animals, then laughed happily when she thought of her plan. The next morning, Shindara, Han Yu-sung, and Hyeon-woo went to the aquarium together. Shindara was determined to help Han Yu-sung overcome his fear of octopuses. The 3 of them played around all day, took pictures, and shared them with Oh Roshi. When they arrived at the aquarium, Shindara and Hyeon-woo were attracted by the scent of penguin cakes and ran to buy some. Han Yu-sung was too lazy to move around, so he decided to wait for them. Meanwhile, Hyeon-woo told Shindara about Han Yu-sung's panic disorder, which caused him to faint in the aquarium, but he was much better now. Shin-da-ra recalled the incident yesterday when Han Yu-sung fainted and was worried that he had not completely recovered. They quickly returned to Han Yu-sung, but he had disappeared. It turned out that Han Yu-sung was helping a lost child and accidentally walked into another exhibition room. On the way back, Shin-da-ra took out the small octopus doll that she had prepared. Looking at the cute octopus, Shin-da-ra believed that Han Yu-sung would no longer be afraid. Shin-da-ra felt that this small octopus looked a lot like Han Yu-sung. Han Yu-sung laughed happily and hung the little octopus on his bag. He felt much more relieved. Because of Shin-da-ra, he was no longer afraid of octopuses. This couple was really cute. That night, Shin-da-ra couldn't sleep, thinking about Han Yu-sung. His words about the little octopus kept repeating in her mind. Shin-da-ra suddenly realized that the little octopus was cute, and Han Yu-sung said that it looked like her. Was he complimenting that how cute she was? The next day, the two went to school together. On the way, Shin-da-ra complained about her father not caring about her. Han Yu-sung didn't say anything, just quietly pulled her to the flower shop and bought a bouquet of flowers. It turned out that day was the anniversary of his father's death. Shin-da-ra felt regretful for blaming her father. Han Yu-sung just silently expressed his dissatisfaction with his father and felt abandoned. Shin-da-ra apologized to Han Yu-sung after leaving the flower shop. She realized that she had not cared about his feelings. Han Yu-sung didn't mind, but Shin-da-ra still blamed herself. Han Yu-sung wanted to comfort her, so he went forward and gently patted her head. Shin-da-ra felt sullen and said, "Do you think I'm a puppy?" Although Shin-da-ra was joking, she felt warm inside. That day, Shin-da-ra was even more certain that Han Yu-sung was her most special friend. They returned to school, which was known to be the biggest place of Korean Idol production. Even the dance teachers at school had their own entertainment companies, and if they saw a potential student, they would sign a contract directly. Han Yu-sung's teacher noticed his outstanding dance and directly invited him to audition, and posted a video of the two of them dancing on social media for promotion. Shin-da-ra was extremely happy to see Han Yu-sung have the opportunity to debut. She was more proud of her friend than ever. At this moment, two female classmates approached Han Yu-sung and started a conversation. They said that they had recorded a video of him and asked if they could post it on their friend circle, and also asked to print Han Yu-sung's social media account. When the two girls heard his approval, their faces immediately became shy and excited. Seeing the girls' admiration for Han Yu-sung, Shin-da-ra couldn't help but feel jealous, and she immediately acted sulky. Suddenly, a group of male students ran over and made a chaos situation. Han Yu-sung quickly protected Shin-da-ra, keeping her from falling. Han Yu-sung worriedly asked if she was okay. Shin-da-ra suddenly realized that something was wrong. Was this the Han Yu-sung she knew? If it was his past personality, he would have been more careful. How could he be so gentle? Shin-da-ra was full of questions and asked Han Yu-sung why he did that to her. Did he fall in love with her? A straight Han Yu-sung naively asked her what she was talking about. Han Yu-sung was surprised and didn't understand what Shin-da-ra was trying to imply. Being rejected, Shin-da-ra ran away angrily, but didn't forget to yell at Han Yu-sung. After school, Shin-da-ra was alone in the dancing room looking at Oh Ro-shi's photos on social media, then fell into deep thought. She was angry when she saw so many bad comments about Oh Ro-shi. Han Yu-sung silently walked over to her side, quietly approaching to see what she was doing. Shin-da-ra turned to look at him, unintentionally shortening the distance between them. This situation made her a little embarrassed. Just as she was about to speak, Han Yu-sung's phone lit up, and she quickly took it to see if it was a text message from the girl before. It turned out to be just a text message from the dance teacher, asking Han Yu-sung to send an introduction video. Shin-da-ra then remembered Han Yu-sung's audition. Shin-da-ra said that if Han Yu-sung debuted, more people would see him, and he would have more fans. It seemed like he was dreaming of a bright future, but Shin-da-ra's expression was a little sad. At this moment, Han Yu-sung was confused again, and he decided to ask Shin-da-ra's opinion, wanting her to give him advice on whether he should tell his mother about the audition, because his mother didn't really like him doing these things. Shin-da-ra encouraged him, saying that as long as he debuted successfully, he could earn a lot of money and bring honor to his mother. But Han Yu-sung said that his mother didn't need him to earn money. Shin-da-ra teased and asked his mother if she needed a daughter. Han Yu-sung laughed when he heard that. However, Shin-da-ra suddenly realized something was wrong and wanted to take back her words. The serious Han Yu-sung naturally did not understand Shin-da-ra's meaning, but still took the initiative to invite Shin-da-ra to his house. Shin-da-ra tacitly and happily agreed. The next day, when seeing Han Yu-sung's confidence in front of the crowd, Ji-soo-bin felt heartbreaking. If his mother already had Han Yu-sung, then his existence would be meaningless. He escaped from the practice room and missed the audition arranged by his mother. It was the first time he dared to go against his mother. Meanwhile, his best friend Woo Jae-young, who accompanied him, was not so lucky. Everyone was waiting to take pictures, but Ji Soo-bin didn't appear, causing everything to stall. Woo Jae-young suggested filming his part first, but was told by his agent that he was nothing without Ji Soo-bin, and directly told him that he had no chance to debut. Woo Jae-young hopelessly kept calling Ji Soo-bin, but he didn't answer. At this time, Ji Soo-bin was hiding in a coffee shop, trying to escape the harsh reality. At night, when Woo Jae-young finished his part-time job and was on his way home, he received a call from his landlord demanding rent. Now a successful debut was his only way out. But when he got home, he found Ji Soo-bin waiting for him there. Woo Jae-young worriedly asked Ji Soo-bin why he didn't answer the phone. Ji Soo-bin replied in confusion that he had seen the call but didn't want to go there. Woo Jae-young didn't dare to be angry. Facing the son of the company director, he could only condescend. Ji Soo-bin then said that he didn't want to go home and wanted to stay with him for a while. Woo Jae-young smiled bitterly, saying that if his mother knew that he was here, he would be in trouble. Putting down his ego, Woo Jae-young begged Ji Soo-bin to help him this time. This was his last chance. Woo Jae-young begged Ji Soo-bin to come to the show with him, but Ji Soo-bin suspiciously asked if Woo Jae-young was afraid that he wouldn't be able to debut on his own. Woo Jae-young didn't know what to say more. In Woo Jae-young's mind, Ji Soo-bin was a child born with a silver spoon in his mouth. How could he understand his hardships? In a fit of rage, Woo Jae-young clenched his fists, and the thought of revenge arose in his mind. On the other hand, Han Yu-sung was very excited to participate in the intern audition early in the morning. He was very looking forward to this audition, and his friends were also enthusiastically cheering for him. But when he arrived at the company, Han Yu-sung received a notice that the audition had been cancelled. Looking up, he accidentally met the person he didn't want to see the most, his half-brother, Ji Soo-bin. Han Yu-sung didn't mean to say hello, but Ji Soo-bin deliberately followed behind, seeming to want to say something. Finally, Ji Soo-bin couldn't be irrepressible, and showed Han Yu-sung the text message on his phone. The message showed that he was the fake one. Ji Soo-bin suspected that Han Yu-sung had posted it, because he was the only one who knew about it. But Han Yu-sung coldly denied it and told Ji Soo-bin to ask someone else. But when he saw Ji Soo-bin so nervous that she scratched the eyes, Han Yu-sung still came closer to stop him, seeming to be a big brother. Besides, Shin Da-ra had meticulously prepared some delicious cakes. Because Han Yu-sung had attended the audition today, Oh Ro-shi was also once again chosen as the MC for the school's talent show. Double happiness. It was truly worth celebrating. Before Oh Ro-shi went on stage to record, Shin Da-ra hurriedly ran over to help her hold it because she forgot to put away her phone. But when she touched Oh Ro-shi's hands, Shin Da-ra suddenly realized that they were cold. Oh Ro-shi just smiled and said it was nothing, then walked onto the stage. Shin Da-ra looked at the audience anxiously, feeling restless in her heart. It didn't take any longer. While Ji Soo-bin was busy, Han Yu-sung received a call from a classmate, reporting that Oh Ro-shi had fainted. Since she and Oh Ro-shi were in the same company, Ji Soo-bin quickly contacted an assistant for support, and then immediately went to school with Han Yu-sung. When they arrived, Oh Ro-shi had already been taken away. Shin Da-ra only then realized that Oh Ro-shi's phone was still with her. Ji Soo-bin said that he could bring it to Oh Ro-shi. But Shin Da-ra clearly did not trust Ji Soo-bin, and finally decided to let everyone go together. On this side, Oh Ro-shi wanted to go back to school after waking up, but was taken back to the intern dormitory by the manager. As expected, as soon as she arrived, she received persiflages from her teammates. It was already dark, and Shin Da-ra came to return the phone by herself, conveniently bringing Oh Ro-shi snacks. But the Shin Da-ra did not realize that Oh Ro-shi had suffered a terrible boycott. In addition to preparing cakes, Shin Da-ra also brought snacks for Oh Ro-shi's teammates. When she arrived at the door, Oh Ro-shi's status didn't look very good, and she asked Shin Da-ra to leave quickly. However, Shin Da-ra still didn't notice anything unusual, and enthusiastically introduced the handmade snacks to everyone. But when she gave the cakes to Oh Ro-shi, she didn't receive them. Instead, some roommates came out from behind and mocked her, saying, "How could I eat those things?" At the same time, he mocked Oh Ro-shi for pretending to be picky about weight control. As a result, she ate everything the housemaid brought. Isn't that the kind of food that makes you nauseous? Shin Da-ra started to feel that something was wrong. Oh Ro-shi quickly pulled her downstairs. Ji Soo-bin, who was waiting downstairs, was also very worried, but Oh Ro-shi didn't pay attention. Instead, she blamed Shin Da-ra for suddenly coming to the dormitory. Why didn't she give her phone to the company? Why was she so confident? The girl group looked like sisters on the surface, but in fact they had long been divided internally. The other 3 girls in the group had boycotted Oh Ro-shi, but the instructor thought she was more suitable for the center position, which aroused the jealousy of her teammates. They even deliberately pushed her to the ground. Oh Ro-shi sometimes thought about giving up being an idol, but couldn't help but remember 2 years ago, when she first became an idol. Shin Da-ra was very happy for her. When she knew the truth that Oh Roshi was being bullied by her teammates, Shin Dara cried in pain. She was mad at Oh Roshi for not telling her sooner. But Oh Roshi was still be angry at Shin Dara. She thought that what Shin Dara loved was beauty, happiness, and didn't care about the bad aspects of life. She angrily said hurtful words to Shin Dara. When Oh Roshi returned to the dormitory, she saw the cake Shin Dara made for her was destroyed by her teammates. However, her teammates continued to mock and badmouth Shin Dara. Finally, Oh Roshi couldn't bear it anymore and threw the cake box at them, expressing her anger. Oh Roshi hid in her room and cried. Looking at the congratulatory card that Shin Dara gave her, she couldn't help crying. Besides, Shin Dara also cried heartbrokenly. Jisoo Bin reminded her to keep that a secret, because if that issue spread out, it would only negatively affect Oh Roshi's idol career. Han Yu-sung immediately ran over when he heard Shin Dara's crying on the phone. Jisoo Bin even bought delicious food to comfort Shin Dara and waited for Han Yu-sung to arrive before leaving. Even though Shin Dara tried to keep this a secret, she still couldn't hide the pain of being hurt by Oh Roshi. She didn't understand why she had to hide it when they were friends. Han Yu-sung gently explained that sometimes the more friends they were, the more they had to hide it, because they didn't want their friends to worry. Like him, when he was disqualified from the audition, he didn't know how to tell her. Oh Roshi must have felt the same way. Because of Han Yu-sung's comforting words, Shin Dara gradually calmed down. Just as she was about to go home, Han Yu-sung stopped her, revealing that he also had a secret that he had not told her. However, he promised that he would tell her in the future. On the other side, Jisoo Bin returned home. His mother still coldly ordered him to attend the audition. His mother did not care at all when he left home for 2 days. Jisoo Bin questioned his mother back that, "Mom, what if it was revealed that he was fake?" Mom just smiled and told him to be good. Han Yu-sung also went home, not expecting that the teacher was also there, and the teacher revealed a secret to him. It turned out that the reason why many of his auditions were cancelled was because of Jisoo Bin's mother, forcing him to participate in the talent competition organized by Jisoo Bin's parent company. Although he did not register, his name appeared on the list of winners. When the dirty world shows its true nature, running away is useless. Han Yu-sung signed up for the talent competition at Jisoo Bin's mother's company. Jisoo Bin removed the mole imitating Han Yu-sung by himself. Even Oh Roshi was determined to resist. It was time to fight back. She opened the refrigerator, took out all the carbonated drinks and poured them into the sink. Her roommate was awakened by the noise, immediately came out and asked her what she was doing. But Oh Roshi did not stop, continued to take out all the snacks in the house and threw them into the trash. This was her first step against these bullies. Being an idol girl group, it was fine for her teammates to not follow the rules, but they went even exaggeratedly by boycotting Oh Roshi just because she refused to follow them. Oh Roshi had been silently enduring it all this time, but they had also insulted her best friend. This caused the always gentle and patient Oh Roshi to completely explode. Shin Dara on the other side was the opposite. Ever since the argument with Oh Roshi, she had been sick and didn't care about the outside world. Lying on the table looking at the photos with Oh Roshi, Shin Dara couldn't help sighing, because she suddenly realized that Oh Roshi always satisfied her preferences. The pendants her best friend chose were always the designs she liked. But hold on a minute. Oh Roshi's pendant seemed to have gone missing. Shin Dara hurriedly searched everywhere. When she got home that evening, she was still depressed about this problem. Han Yu-sung tried to comfort her, saying that he would look for it with her tomorrow. Han Yu-sung saw Shin Dara home, but as soon as he left, he was suddenly stopped by someone. It turned out to be Oh Roshi hiding outside the door. Seeing the two of them being close, Oh Roshi felt like she had discovered a new world, especially when she realized that Han Yu-sung was willing to take a longer detour to take Shin Dara home. Oh Roshi's gossiping spirit immediately arose. These two decided to find a place to eat and talk. A convenience store was an appropriate place. During the meal, Oh Roshi took the initiative to tell Han Yu-sung about her experiences. Han Yu-sung suddenly realized the reason why Shin Dara was always depressed and worried about losing the pendant. He asked Oh Roshi to do something to help Shin Dara, because she was almost sick from suppressing her emotions. Meanwhile, Shin Dara was still at home, wondering where she had lost the pendant. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and 2 cute teddy bears appeared on the screen. It turned out that Oh Roshi was here. She said she just bought this at the convenience store. This time she chose it based on her own preferences, not knowing if Shin Dara would like it or not. Shin Dara immediately hugged Oh Roshi and cried, but the fact that she was filled with happiness. The two best friends immediately started an intimate night, wearing playful outfits and posing for photos. Happiness and laughter were everywhere in the room. The sadness before also disappeared with the laughter. When she saw the cute octopus doll on the table, Oh Roshi knew that Shin Dara had bought a pair before, but now there was one left. Shin Dara had no choice but to tell that she had given one to Han Yu-sung. Oh Roshi immediately questioned her, asking that if she liked Han Yu-sung. Shindara was flustered and quickly changed the subject, even suggesting that Roshi sleep with her tonight. Roshi agreed, then seriously apologized to Shindara for saying hurtful words to her. Shindara also blamed herself for not caring about Roshi's feelings. The two girls hugged each other tightly. Meanwhile, Jisoo-bin received a threatening message, the content of which was a photo of him meeting the female idol Roshi privately. But Jisoo-bin didn't feel uncomfortable, because taking this photo meant that the photographer must have been very close to him. More importantly, he could check the surveillance to find that person. He soon discovered a shadow. Even though the other person was wearing a hood, Jisoo-bin still recognized him. He went straight to the recording studio, where Woo Jae-young was practicing singing. The shoes on Woo Jae-young's feet were exactly the same as that day. Jisoo-bin didn't beat around the bush, and directly told Woo Jae-young that he knew what he had done. Woo Jae-young immediately panicked, desperately apologizing to Jisoo-bin, saying that he had no bad intentions. He just felt that Jisoo-bin hadn't been feeling well recently, so he wanted to stimulate him that way. But Jisoo-bin didn't care about the other person's excuses. He pretended to be comfortable and let Woo Jae-young off the hook, as if it had never happened. However, Woo Jae-young's mood became more complicated. At this time, his cell phone received a text message. It was a text message from an old friend, introducing him to money-making opportunities, but in reality, tricking him into serving drinks to rich women. Woo Jae-young knew this was not a good thing, but he really needed money. After thinking for a long time, he still got dressed and got on his friend's car. Early the next morning on the way to school, Woo Jae-young accidentally met Hyun-woo. It seemed that Hyun-woo was the only friend he had in school. Noticing the sadness on Woo Jae-young's face, Hyun-woo reminded him to smile more. Not only that, but Hyun-woo also noticed his wound and took the initiative to bandage it for him. Touched by his action, Woo Jae-young invited Hyun-woo to have breakfast. Hyun-woo was truly a kind and sincere friend. During breakfast, the two talked about the school's talent competition. Only then, Woo Jae-young knew that Hyun-woo had also signed up. This made him worried, because there were only a few spots to debut and Hyun-woo was very famous. The chances left for him were even fewer. Suddenly, Hyun-woo received a text message informing him that he had passed the audition. At the same time, Woo Jae-young also received a text message, but his lineament immediately changed when he read it. Besides, Jisoo-bin was naturally qualified, but suddenly Woo Jae-young approached to ask why he was disqualified. Woo Jae-young kept talking about how hard he had worked, and begged Jisoo-bin to help him think of a solution as well. However, Jisoo-bin quickly went out because he found out that Han Yu-sung's name was also on the list. He asked Han Yu-sung why he joined the show, worried that he had been trapped into his mother's cabal. But Han Yu-sung appeared extremely confident, wanting to know whether he could turn the tables or not. On the other hand, Woo Jae-young went to Jisoo-bin's mother's office. He thought that it was Jisoo-bin who had bad-mouthed him in front of his mother, causing him to be disqualified. He wanted to ask her to give him another chance, but the woman just smiled coldly and took out a stack of photos. The photos were all taken when Woo Jae-young was serving drinks. Woo Jae-young immediately knelt down in fear and begged desperately. If these photos were leaked out, his life would end. Jisoo-bin entered the room and saw his best friend kneeling on the ground begging his mother for another chance to become an idol intern, because he had been photographed serving drinks, which meant he would no longer have a chance to debut. Jisoo-bin hated his mother's act of sneaky taking photos behind his back and pulled Woo Jae-young away. Woo Jae-young still was in a glimmer of hope, wanting Jisoo-bin to help him find a solution. But Jisoo-bin couldn't do anything right now. He could only watch Woo Jae-young run away in despair. That night, Woo Jae-young didn't dare to enter the room. He really didn't do anything bad, but who could believe him? Some people were happy, some were sad. On the other side, Han Yu-sung was laughing and talking with his friends during the weekend. After lunch, Shindara advised Han Yu-sung not to be picky about food. Han Yu-sung obediently promised to change in the future. Seeing this scene, Hyun-woo couldn't help asking if the two had decided to date yet. Shindara said Han Yu-sung hadn't confessed to her yet. Han Yu-sung replied that she liked him first. The two of them joked back and forth for a while, making Hyun-woo and Roshi witness the flirting of the couple. In the afternoon, when they went out for coffee, the two were still inseparable. Roshi was also happy for them. Unexpectedly at this time, Roshi received a text message from a teammate who was a bully, asking her to come out and talk. Influenced by Shindara and Han Yu-sung's frankness, Roshi decided to agree to meet. Roshi ignored her teammate's high moral foundation and directly expressed her dissatisfaction with her teammate. She had done nothing wrong to deserve such treatment. When she returned to Shindara's house alone, Roshi was surprised to see Jisoo-bin waiting at the door. Jisoo-bin pretended that he accidentally passed by and just wanted to visit her. But Roshi noticed the wound at the corner of his eye. She came closer to touch the wound, but Jisoo-bin grabbed her hand. This grip made him unable to let go. Just then, Han Yu-sung appeared, and got Shin Da-ra back to her house. Orochi quickly grabbed Ji Soo-bin and they hid. Shin Da-ra kept muttering, urging Han Yu-sung to confess. Han Yu-sung deliberately refused. The two of them hid in the dark and witnessed the whole thing. Orochi asked Ji Soo-bin to leave quickly to avoid misunderstandings. But Ji Soo-bin quietly said that misunderstandings like this were fine. After saying that, he left, but was pulled back by Orochi. Orochi asked him if he liked her. A famous female idol was suddenly caught up in a love scandal, causing an entertainment company to prepare to confront and clarify the matter. However, the company representative, Ji Soo-bin's mother, was very proud because she was the one who spread this scandal with the purpose of promoting idol intern Han Yu-sung, who is currently joining audition. But when the rumor spread, it was unclear how the two sides felt. Shin Da-ra and Ji Soo-bin could not sit steadily at this moment. Shin Da-ra cried until her eyes were red, but she kept denying it, saying that her eyes were swollen because she ate instant noodles the night before. Ji Soo-bin couldn't help laughing, took out a band-aid and coaxed Shin Da-ra to put it on to reduce the swelling. He even said that he was too kind. On the other side of the dormitory, the band manager was interrogating Orochi about the recent scandal. Unexpectedly, the teammates who had bullied Orochi this time firmly stood up to protect her. It turned out that Orochi had a heart-to-heart talk with the band captain the day before. The sincerity of Orochi touched the hearts of his teammates, helping them realize their mistakes. The rift between them gradually mended. The teammates even bought a cake to apologize to Orochi, saying that they shouldn't have destroyed the cakes that Shin Da-ra had brought. The teammates even took the initiative to live broadcast without the company's permission, to help Orochi make any misunderstandings clear. During the broadcast, they affirmed that Orochi and Han Yu-sung were just normal friends and explained that the place where the two were photographed was downstairs of their mutual friend Shin Da-ra's house, thus clearing up all the doubts from fans. After receiving the explanation, Shin Da-ra finally became happy again. But as soon as she went downstairs, she saw Han Yu-sung waiting. The emotions that had just calmed down exploded again. Han Yu-sung was assaulted with scandalous news and had no choice but to turn off his phone. Shin Da-ra hadn't heard from him all day. When they met, the frustrations she had been holding in her heart overflowed. She sat down and started crying. Han Yu-sung looked at Shin Da-ra with a sad gaze. He gently hugged her from behind and explained everything seriously. Although Shin Da-ra believed that her boyfriend was not with someone else, she still couldn't help but feel heartbroken over this scandal. In order to comfort the person he loved, Han Yu-sung directly kissed Shin Da-ra on the cheek. Shin Da-ra noticed Han Yu-sung's audacious action and looked at him in surprise. Han Yu-sung felt a little guilty. Unexpectedly, although Shin Da-ra grumbled that he was too much, she still bravely responded with a kiss on the lips. The interaction between this young couple was too sweet. Their actions made it impossible for others to take their eyes off them. On the other hand, before the talent show could air, the secrets behind it were exposed. The representative of Orochi's entertainment company, who was also Ji Soo-bin's mother, was exposed as a homewrecker who ruined the happiness of another family. She only created the show to pave the way for her son to debut. The true identities of Ji Soo-bin and Han Yu-sung were also revealed, causing a huge public debate. What was even more surprising was that the person who planned all of this was Han Yu-sung's mother. After a long period of restraint, she went straight into Ji Soo-bin's mother's office and declared that this was just a warning. If she did anything harmful to Han Yu-sung, she would definitely ruin everything she had. After saying that, she calmly left, leaving Ji Soo-bin who was mad behind. Ji Soo-bin bowed his head outside the door, not daring to look Han Yu-sung's mother in the eye. But she walked directly in front of him, took off the bandage, and looked at the scar he had left. She coldly asked him, "Do you think you can cover it up like this?" Ji Soo-bin could only cover up the scar in shame and apologize repeatedly. At this moment, someone stood up to protect him. Han Yu-sung questioned what his mother was doing. He said those mistakes were not Ji Soo-bin's fault. After running away from his mother, Han Yu-sung took Ji Soo-bin to the beach and bought him a new bandage. The two had an open and sincere conversation, through which the two brothers resolved the knot in their hearts. Han Yu-sung also took Ji Soo-bin out to dinner and kindly helped him grill meat. This guy's grilling skills were too clumsy. While trying to grill meat, Han Yu-sung received a few complaints, but the atmosphere was still very warm. Han Yu-sung confessed that he really didn't know how to grill meat, then pushed the iron tongs to his younger brother. Ji Soo-bin was a little dissatisfied because he had suggested eating sashimi earlier, so didn't he need to grill it? After saying that, he immediately returned the tongs to grill the meat to his brother, relying on his brother's clumsy hands. After fumbling around for a while, he discovered that the grilled meat was surprisingly delicious. In the middle of the laughter and stories, the two brothers couldn't help thinking about whether their lives would have been extremely happy if they were just children from ordinary families, not facing these cruel situations. After drinking, they decided to go home, but Ji Soo-bin surely couldn't go home at this time. Han Yu-sung made the decision to let Ji Soo-bin go home. Han Yu-sung's mother was a little unhappy when she saw Jisoo Bin at first, but seeing Jisoo Bin trying to apologize, she didn't say anything more. The two brothers played games together and then slept in the same bed. Early the next morning, they wanted to run away to avoid Han Yu-sung's mother, but she stopped them, asking her son to finish his breakfast before leaving. She specifically reminded Jisoo Bin to do the same. Sitting at the dining table, watching Han Yu-sung's mother carefully prepare breakfast, Jisoo Bin finally had the courage to speak. He apologized to Han Yu-sung's mother on behalf of his mother. Due to Jisoo Bin's sincere apologies, Han Yu-sung's mother's expression looked complicated. Han Yu-sung quickly relieved Jisoo Bin so that he could finish his breakfast quickly. But unexpectedly, when the two of them arrived at school, they encountered a scene that was both funny and sad. Their friends seemed to have been waiting for them for a long time, all of them holding tools. The scene was filled with the smell of danger. Han Yu-sung had already felt this, but Jisoo Bin wanted to go over and watch. Han Yu-sung had to quickly stop his brother. The two of them wanted to run away, but their speed was not as fast as the crowd in front. Afterwards, they organized a video to interview with Han Yu-sung and his brother. Both of them expressed their close relationship, and they even practiced dancing together. Owing to this video, the news that Jisoo Bin's mother was the homewrecker who ruined Han Yu-sung's family happiness was resolved peacefully. The online community believes that the two brothers are close anyway, so they no longer mention adult issues at all. At the same time, the closeness between the two brothers also helps Han Yu-sung's mother understand that the hatred she has been harboring for so long only makes her a selfish person. The children are not at fault. It is just the imposition of adults that has hurt them and made them unhappy. Han Yu-sung's mother went to find teacher Kang in Hayuk. She told him about her decision about her own life and wanted to change. The teacher also encouraged her decision and even took the initiative to introduce her to a new job. But Jisoo Bin's mother came to find her at this time. She was like crazy questioning Han Yu-sung's mother. Could it ruin her? She thought that she was in a higher position, Han Yu-sung's mother, and everyone would definitely believe her words more. In contrast with agitation, Han Yu-sung's mother calmly asked her if she didn't feel ashamed in front of the children. She advised her to stop, because the two of them looked really unsightly now. Jisoo Bin's mother still couldn't keep calm, saying that no matter how much trouble she made before, she still didn't show up. But now that she appeared, she made her so miserable. Han Yu-sung's mother didn't care about her and left. On the other hand, Hyun Woo revealed to Jisoo Bin that Woo Jae-young would be returning his home today. Jisoo Bin hurriedly ran to the train station wanting to hold on to his close friend. But the misunderstanding between the two of them still could not be resolved. Jisoo Bin could only silently watch Woo Jae-young leave. Han Yu-sung comforted his younger brother not to think too much. He and Woo Jae-young also needed time to untangle and heal their wounds, just like them. After that, the two practiced together, preparing for the upcoming talent search competition. At this time, Jisoo Bin's mother came to find her son. She wanted him to return home with her, and at the same time wanted him to transfer schools and not continue participating in the competition. But Jisoo Bin now no longer wanted to continue being controlled by his mother. He wanted to be himself, a real Jisoo Bin and not a copy of anyone. Jisoo Bin rejected his mother and said that his mother was wrong, but no one told his mother that. He wanted his mother to look back and change. No matter how much people criticized her, he would still be by her side. Jisoo Bin's mother at this time seemed to not believe that her son would say such a thing. She quietly left. Jisoo Bin returned to continue practicing. The day of the competition soon arrived. The combined performance of Han Yu-sung and Jisoo Bin was excellent, attracting a large number of fans. However, the competition they participated in was cancelled at the last minute, but this stage opened up a new opportunity for the two brothers to shine. Jisoo Bin's mother seemed to have realized her mistake. She decided to resign and move to another place with her son. Before leaving, Jisoo Bin went to say goodbye to his brother. He expressed his sincere thanks to Han Yu-sung and his mother. The bond between the two brothers grew stronger. They were able to joke around and cracking together. Jisoo Bin wanted to ask his brother to say goodbye to his classmates, but Han Yu-sung advised him to say it himself. It turned out that Oh Ro-shi was already waiting for him there. The two of them talked and walked. Jisoo Bin said that he might not necessarily become famous because he just wanted to be someone's special person. Oh Ro-shi expressed that although Jisoo Bin would not necessarily become famous, she saw that he was very serious when she first met him. That's why Oh Ro-shi wanted Jisoo Bin to be free to do what he wanted. At this moment, the car that came to pick up Jisoo Bin stopped in front of the two of them. Jisoo Bin suddenly approached and gave Oh Ro-shi a kiss. While Oh Ro-shi was still in a daze, Jisoo Bin said that was what he wanted to do. Regardless of whether Oh Ro-shi had time to react, he said goodbye and got in the car and left. The movie ended here. Each of them had different choices, but they all wanted the other to be happy and do whatever they wanted. No matter what happened, their youth was the happiest time.